right, so now as we go through this, guys, remember from there, I like to have you guys interact with me. When we go through the movie, we talk about different things. Certain people are going to be disagree or maybe have a different way of thinking about things. So in the last class, what we did is we actually brought up, this is sometimes we make pretend we're in court, and you're going to come up here and you're going to testify in reference to the movie. And I'm going to be the prosecutor asking you questions, or the defense attorney.
Do you know what a prosecutor is?
Do we know what a prosecutor is?
Do you want a defense attorney? I'm just looking at blank faces.
Yeah. So a prosecutor is when I arrest somebody and then it goes up to the court, Superior Court of Morristown, we call the lawyer that handles the case a prosecutor. The lawyer that handles the person I arrested is the defense attorney. Okay? So I'll play either role depending on how it plays out in the movie. Now, is anybody here not want to be questioned? Absolutely, 100%. Because it's tough to say Patricia's going to do it, because Patricia may agree with what we're talking about. In the other class, we had guys that didn't agree. So then I would bring them up here, and I would question them, and then really show them why it was manslaughter, why it was murder. Was there intent? Was there not intent? And then after being questioned, they would understand, oh, wait a second, this does make sense. Now I see why it's like that.
So let's start with, who knows what the difference between manslaughter and, say, premeditated murder?
Yeah, murder. So manslaughter is what?
Isn't manslaughter when you plan something like that?
No, murder is when it's premeditated. If you have serial killers, they know, they actually find their person that they're going to kill, and they act it out the way they act it out. Manslaughter.
It's like when you physically killed them, but what you did.
So, yeah, a good example of manslaughter would be, say, two students get into a pushing match in a hallway. Two guys are upset because he talked to the other guy's girlfriend. They never had intent to kill each other. They were just pushing each other. They're probably friends, just having a scuffle. But say the one friend trips, hits his head on the locker, and say his head injury is so bad he dies. There's no intent there, but that could be manslaughter. You guys understand the difference? Now, who can read very loud? You guys see that? All right, so what's this? Who wants to read this?
Nice and loud. Someone.
Nice and loud. Yeah.
Why, a person is guilty of lying if he participates with four or more others in a course of disorderly conduct, as defined in section 2C, 33-2.
Read that, we go.
With purpose to permit or facilitate the commission of a crime. With purpose to prevent or force official attention, or when he or any other participant, known to him, uses or plans to use a firearm or other deadly weapon.
Go on.
Riot, if committed under circumstances set forth in paragraph 3, is a crime of the 3rd degree. Otherwise, riot is a crime of the 4th degree. Failure of disorderly persons to disperse upon official order, or 5 or more persons are participating in the course of disorderly conduct, as defined in section 2C, 33-2A, likely to cause substantial harm, or peace officer or other public citizen engaged in executing or enforcing the law may order the participants and others in the immediate vicinity to disperse. A person who refuses or knowingly fails
Okay, so what's a riot? How many people? 4 or more. So the last section, a peace officer, which is me, or other public servant. So say out back, there's a fight going on. And say there's 20 or 30 kids watching the fight, rooting it on. So if I go out there and I yell, everybody get out of here, and nobody leaves, can they be charged? Yes? So that's what we want you guys to realize, that a riot, which, how many times in the movie has 4 or more people committed some type of crime? What do we think?
Think about.
Come on, guys.
Well, they all travel in the gang, so like every time they commit a crime.
It's right.
So every time,
Every time.
right? Every time. All right, so the first scene that we're going to show you guys, there are how many murders in the movie? 2? Well, you guys read the book, right?
Not everybody.
Who didn't read the book?
My class.
Oh yeah, great.
Okay.
Well,
So-
Johnny isn't a murderer.
They do.
All right, so what's not a murder?
When he gets his back breaks and he was fired.
Okay, but what else? What other scenes?
Well, there's one murder where a guy knifes a guy, and then there's another murder where the cops shoot a guy.
Right.
Okay. So different scenes, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to play this first scene, and then we're going to ask you some questions.
Back there on the adventure poster.
You about to freeze to death?
Just watch this really carefully. Now rewatch this once. Now we're going to analyze it a little bit.
Pick out key points, guys.
Now that you know what constitutes a riot, watch the scene.
Oh, you got a lighter? Found this book, man.
Yeah, here you go, John. Look what's coming. This is our territory.
I bet they're looking for us. Want to split?
Stay cool.
Well. What do you guys know?
You're drunk.
We're going to talk about that factor also.
What's that guy with the rings, man?
Aren't these the greasers who, tried to pick up on our women?
Hey, you're out of your territory now. You guys better watch it.
No, pal, you better watch it. You guys know what greasers are? White trash with long, greasy hair.
You know what a Soch is?
What?
White trash with mustangs and matches.
Get him! Get him! Johnny, run! Run! Come on, Johnny! Stay down, pal. Son of a bitch! Grab his arms and grab him down! Grab him! Somebody got drinks for this greaser, huh? Here, give me that! John, come on, have a drink, pal!
killed him. I killed that boy.
All right,
All right, guys. So
let's talk about this.
let's talk about it.
Thank you.
Let's talk about this. So, who wants to start? What happened?
Well, the social came and they saw that Johnny before that was Sherry and that other girl, and they got mad because they were Sherry and the other girl, so they made fun of the three students out of it, and then only one made fun of them, so they attacked them.
Okay. What else? Okay.
Oh, I think that the socials.
I think that the socials could be charged with rioting, aggravated assault, and attempted murder for punishment.
For Pony Boy?
They tried to drown him and kill him.
They tried to drown him and kill him. What else, Patricia? Drunk driving. What else?
I think the socials could be charged for manslaughter. I mean, Johnny could be charged for manslaughter because he did not intend to murder Bob, but he just tried to save Pony Boy.
So you don't think he intended to kill one of the socials?
No, I think he was just trying to save Pony Boy's life.
Does everybody agree? Does everybody think that that was self-defense? Raise your hand. Who doesn't think it was self-defense? Why?
Hang on, man.
Hang on.
Well, he had a knife, and he knew what he could do with that knife. And even though Pony Boy was being drowned, he could have done something else to defend him by stabbing him. He knew what he was going to do, and he knew what he was going to do to inflict pain on this guy. He knew the consequences that could happen was just really sharp.
Now, do you agree with him?
I don't.
Why?
Well, because like he doesn't know if the knife will kill him or just badly hurt him.
Just badly hurt him?
Yeah.
And you want to stick with that stance?
Yes.
Are you willing to come and sit on the stand?
Sure.
Come on. Who do? All right, so swear him in.
Place your
Left hand on the
right
English
hand up.
Bible.
You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
State your name to the court.
My name is AJ.
State your residence. Where do you live?
Oh, Chester, New Jersey.
What's your address?
1 Sterling Drive.
Okay. So AJ,
Yes.
you're gonna play the part of Pony Boy was the one getting drowned, right? All right. So you're gonna be Pony Boy.
Okay.
All right. So how you doing today, Pony Boy?
Good.
Good. Nice day out there, huh?
Yeah.
You know why you're here today?
No.
No? Let me tell you why you're here today. Because who was in the park with you that night?
Johnny.
Johnny. What happened that night?
Soldiers tried to drown me.
They tried to drown you. Bad experience, huh?
Yes.
So, what led you to go to the park that night?
Well, we were trying to go home and trying to take a shortcut, and the soldiers came up in the car and drove to the park and attacked us.
But you were trying to go home,
Yeah.
but you stopped at the park.
Mm-hmm.
But you were trying to go home, why would you stop at the park?
Well, we were going home, and then the socials came, so we tracked us.
But were the socials, you were at the park before the socials came?
Yes.
Thank you. You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? He's already lying, just for the record. So, what time was it at the park?
I think like 12.
12, midnight?
Yeah, I think so.
What time's the park close?
I don't know.
Not at 12, midnight.
No.
You agree with me there? So you two were just, what were you doing on the monkey bars?
We were trying to stand our ground in the socials.
But you didn't know they were there at first.
No, well, we did. We went on the monkey bars when they came.
When they came. So now, you just said you were trying to stand your ground.
Yes.
Define to the court what stand your ground
Well,
means.
as Johnny said, that was our territory and not the socials, so they came on our land.
So, you had intent to stand your ground, correct? So, make note of that, everybody, that Ponyboy and Johnny had intent. They were not going to leave the park because that was their turf. Am I wrong?
Yes.
I'm wrong?
Oh, no.
I'm correct.
Okay.
So, make note of that. They were not standing down. Everybody. So, you see a car roll up?
Mm-hmm.
And who's in it?
4 socials.
4 socials. What's a socia? Tell the court.
Okay, well, a social is basically a rich person from the other side of town.
From the other side of town.
Mm-hmm.
Are they a gang?
Yes.
Yes. Are you in a gang?
Yes.
What kind of gang are you in?
A greaser gang?
The Greaser gang.
Yes.
And people in your gang are known to carry weapons, correct?
Yes.
Everybody in the court, note that anybody in that gang, in the Greasers, carries weapons. So, did you have a weapon on you that night?
No.
Did Johnny Boy?
Yes.
Yeah. What kind of weapon did he have?
A knife.
A knife.
Switchblade.
Switchblade. And you know he always carries a switchblade,
Yeah.
correct? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, just make that a note that he always carries a switchblade. And he knew that he always carries the knife. So now, take me through that night. The socials.
Okay, so we
The
were...
socials. So now, if you see the socials, let me back up. You see the socials coming into your territory. You had a prior beef with them that night?
yes.
Over what?
Well, we were at the movies, and they went into the lot to drink and get drunk, and their girlfriends were there, and we just hung out with them.
Hung out. So they were clearly upset.
Yes.
So when you were sitting in the park at 12 o'clock, and you see them pulling up, any logical person is going to run. Right? There's 4 of them and 2 of you. Right? If it was me, and it's 4 on 2, I'm running. But you were standing your ground. Right? Remember, you have the intent. This is your turf. You're staying.
Yes.
Johnny had a knife, right? You're staying. You're defending your turf. Now, they pull up to you. Who was the one to say to stay?
Me.
So you clearly weren't afraid. You knew you were going to get into an altercation. So, what sparked the altercation?
Well, basically, they were making fun of us, so I said something back, and they attacked us.
Did you spit on anybody?
I did.
That would make me upset.
Yes.
And then what happened after that?
And then they ran after us. They beat up Johnny, and then all 4 of them tried to drown me, and then Johnny saved me.
And then Johnny saved you. How did he save you?
He knifed Social.
He knifed the socia. So you knew he had a knife on him.
I did.
You knew he intended to use it.
Well, only if he
What was
had
that?
to. Only if he
What was
had
that? Only if he had to?
to. Yes.
You knew he had a knife. Yes or no, please?
Yes.
You knew if your life was in danger or his, that he would use it to kill somebody. Yes?
Yes.
You got to say yes for the court.
Yes.
We don't. They can't hear you. So now, you knew they weren't supposed to be in your neighborhood.
Yes.
You knew they were a rival gang. You're in a gang.
Yes.
Your gang carries weapons. You didn't. Again, you're not going to back down. You're going to defend your turf. So you knew nothing good was going to come out of that night.
No.
So now, your head's going underwater. You don't know what's going on. You told me that all 4 of the socials were there.
Yes.
So where was Johnny?
Johnny was on the ground.
He was on the ground. Now, there was a lot of houses around, correct? He could have easily ran across the street, banged on doors, to tell somebody to call police.
Well, in that matter of time, I probably been drowned and died.
Do you think so?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think there was nothing else that he can do? Nothing else? Nothing else at all? You think it was self-defense?
Yes, I did.
So, Johnny, you told me you had intent. You have intent. You're going to defend your turf.
Yes.
How's that self-defense?
Well, because they attacked us first. They had the first move.
Didn't you provoke it?
Yes. Well, they
Didn't
started
you-
it.
Doesn't matter. Fight's a fight. When you seen them pull up, you could have ran.
Yeah.
You didn't run. They wouldn't have caught you. You could have ran across the street. Knocked on somebody's door.
Yeah.
You think they're still going to come and fight you?
No.
Ladies and gentlemen of the court, you just said it. There was another opportunity that they could have took. They could have ran across the street, knocked on the door, they could have screamed, they could have shouted to avoid it. But you guys didn't avoid it because did you want it? You wanted to kill associates. Just admit it. Just admit to the court that you wanted them dead.
No.
You wanted them dead. Just tell us. Is that what you wanted? Dead?
No.
But they are dead?
Yes.
I have no further questions. You can sit down. So now, AJ,
Yes.
were you under a lot of pressure?
I was.
Under a lot of pressure. Now remember, I didn't prep for that at all, guys. That was just watching the skit and just going through it. So now imagine if that I had years to prep for that case. So now, who thinks it was murder? Tell everybody why. Again, you said it before.
When Johnny had the knife, he knew the intentions of everyone. Pony Boy knew the intentions of the knife. The knife isn't something. The knife isn't something that just gonna have a little flesh wound. It's gonna inflict some serious amount of pain or even kill someone. So he knew what he was doing when he came over there, and he could have had another option. He could have tackled someone, but he chose to stab someone, and that's why he was murdered.
Yes. In today's court, he would be charged. That would not be. How many people think it would be manslaughter or self-defense? So you guys still think it'll be manslaughter, Jessica? Because he didn't intend to do it.
Yeah.
But didn't we identify that? Didn't we identify the intent?
Yeah, but like, if someone was hurting you, like, you would do something bad.
But do we understand what self-defense is, guys and girls?
Well, Johnny also carries the knife because earlier in the movie he got beat up by an associate.
So let's talk
yeah, the
about
same
this.
one there.
So he's carrying an illegal weapon with the intent again to use it on somebody for the wrongful purpose. Right, guys? People that I deal with, hold on, people I deal with, if somebody has a knife on them, and it's rare. It's because, oh, I work in the warehouse at Walmart. I'm a contractor. I'm a carpenter. Yeah, Patricia.
Well, maybe he didn't plan on using it, or he just used it as a threat.
Oh yeah.
He used it.
Well, yeah, but maybe he didn't plan on it. Maybe
So,
he carries it
what-
around just to.
So let me ask you this. Let's open this up right here. All right, so when you start your day and you have these pencils and markers and highlighters,
Yeah.
right? Do you plan on using them?
If I need to.
If you need to, but you have them to use them.
If I need to.
That's why you carry it.
But that's
Yes.
why, yes, he has a knife for an illegal purpose, and he's not carrying it because he's not afraid to use it, and he did.
Maybe he just like has the knife like that way, like to scare off people. Like if they don't have a knife and he does, then they seem better.
And I understand intimidation, but I want you guys to understand that in a court of law, no jury is going to say, "Oh, Jessica, it's okay. I know you had the knife just because you wanted to intimidate AJ." You don't, guys.
It's a switchblade, isn't it?
And it's a switchblade. Guys, as a police officer, I carry a gun. And I hope to never ever use it. But if somebody else points a gun at me, it's there because we carry tools, mace, guns, handcuffs, nightsticks. We carry the tools. We don't ever intend to use it. We don't want to use it. So,
Guys, at a really simple level, let's say you're a diabetic. You can't have sugar. You carry a cake around because you just like to look at the cake. Is somebody going to go along with that? I have this, because I can't have it, but I'm just going to, in case I need to look at it. No, you're carrying that around because you intend to eat it. Your willpower gets a little weak, you're probably going to take a bite out of the cake. And then you'll deal with it later. Well, honestly, it's kind of the same thing.
Well, he couldn't, like, he probably didn't want to use the knife, but he had it as self-defense in case someone did want that knife.
but do you think, so you carried a baseball bat around. And that's what I want you to understand. Whatever you have whatever you have here, right? You have this because you intend to use it, correct? So whatever you carry on yourself, you intend to use it. All right, guys, I carry a knife. But why do you think I carry a knife? Because I intend to use it. Where I use it most is, we have a lot of car accidents. If I have to cut somebody out of their seatbelt, but I carry it because I intend to use it.
Like, the thing is, they all carry knives. Like it's not just Johnny. Like, it's like they live in a bad neighborhood and they're gonna get like attacked. They get mugged by like these same people. Johnny got mugged by the same people, and he said, if they ever attack me again, I need to have this just in case because last time they attacked him, they had a knife with them, and they cut his face, they beat him, and he was like, they said he was never the same again, so he was through a horrific experience, and he had it as self-defense.
Detective, I have this one kid who will not listen in class. So, I made that kid sit outside my window in the parking lot where I could still see the kid. It was hot, but I could still see the kid. So I really didn't think anything was going to happen, and then some wild animal came along and hurt the kid. But I really didn't intend anything to happen. So I don't think I should be held responsible for that.
And you didn't mean to put him in
No!
the heat, the harm's way.
No, I had no idea.
He was outside the school, outside of the safety of the school.
Right.
But it happened.
Yeah, it did.
So now you're being charged.
But why?
You're losing your job, your pension, you're losing everything.
It's not fair.
And we went on a school trip, but I lost a student. I didn't mean to.
No, it was an accident.
We went to what game did we go to together, guys?
No, we went to the Jackals.
Jackals, right? So one of you gets lost during that Jackals game. The news, it would be very bad for me as a police officer to lose one of my DARE students out of baseball.
Oh, I think so.
That will be the headline of every newspaper in this state. even on the evening news. That's what you guys have to understand, and that's what we're trying to get you to understand. So if I went around the room, Jessica, everything you have here you intend to use, correct?
Yes.
Correct? Patricia? Correct? So everyone here agrees that everything you have with you in your locker, you intend to use at some point. You don't just carry it because you want to have it, to show it off, or just to have it. You don't wake up, do you wake up every day and say, oh, let me carry this for self-defense? And you know you can't carry because switchblades are illegal. That's a whole separate crime.
Do you know that switchblades are illegal?
I think it's
No.
Yeah.
What about pocket?
They don't.
Any knife's illegal.
No.
You can say, oh,
We didn't say you
Not
can own.
in school, but like outside of school, can't you do whatever you want?
Yeah, just like walk around.
I know.
No. No. I mean, guys, if you're a Cub Scout, or you're a Weeblo, or you're going camping, or if you're going fishing and you're using a knife to fillet the fish, or there has to be a purpose. Right? You can't just walk around the streets and, okay, I got a knife. And it doesn't happen, like, because, know why? Why? Answer your own question, Patricia.
Right.
Well, it's a threat, but is it logical? Would any logical person do that? Exactly. And that's what the jury hears.
You know, I knew a science teacher, and his science teacher did a lot of experiments in class. So she used to carry around the chemicals and put them in her car, and then she would leave them there overnight because one night she forgot to bring them back with her to school, and she would like to sometimes do experiments at home. So she left them in the car, and they disappeared, and somebody got them, and they used them for some nasty purposes. But it wasn't her fault because she didn't know.
She didn't know. And then, guys, she'll be charged with a crime because she took that stuff out of school. Right? That's like me taking one of the assault rifles home, leaving it unsecured somewhere, and somebody stealing it.
But you didn't know.
I didn't know.
Well, as I said, it was self-defense. In the beginning, when Johnny got beat up,
Now
he
remember,
didn't
guys,
have a knife.
and I know where you're going. Johnny got beat up, this one got beat up, but you have to remember, we're in the now. You're there. You're that one moment. The jury is not going to want to hear, what did the jury hear when I questioned you? You're in a gang, a known gang. The associates are in a known gang. Your gang's known to carry weapons. Your gang carries weapons. Your gang's known to be violent. Your gang intends to defend their turf. So that tells remember guys, think any logical person. Think of any normal person that's going to sit there and listen to that. Man, I didn't really, you go into that turf, that territory, and you gotta, I can't even walk the streets there. The greasers may beat me up.
When you get angry, are you thinking logically completely?
No.
At all?
Not at all.
Now, there was another factor there that we want to talk about. Were the socias drinking?
Yeah.
That's another factor in the situation. The drinking also personified their anger.
Anger plus alcohol.
And they were totally out of control because of that, in addition to their anger. And they were driving drunk. So we've got a lot of crimes going on in this one scene. Now, what the detective is trying to, the point being made is, if a prosecutor can prove intent, then a crime was committed.
What do you got, Kat?
The only reason that they were angry is because they were drinking and their girlfriends wanted to they didn't want to hang out with them, they wanted to hang out with people who weren't drinking and were like in their right mind. They were thinking straight and not
They were being
really
nice.
mad and like angry and drunk.
I don't know what the percentage is, but the percentage of altercations, fights that occur because people are drunk is astronomical.
So, I mean, if somebody's under the influence of something, guys, whether it's alcohol, drugs, there's a higher probability that when we're dealing with them, that they may use force against us because they're not thinking logically. You guys are all sober, logical, and you would never say, and I did something wrong, I'm just gonna deal with it and move on. You're not gonna say, see that cop, I'm gonna take him out. You wouldn't do that, because logically, you know if that happens, what's gonna happen? You're going to jail for life.
But alcohol and drugs alters your reality, and you don't. Or you don't think.
So let's move on a little bit. So now, this happens. What happens next?
They run away. Like they realize that they're now in big trouble and they got to hide out and escape.
They leave the scene of crime.
Yes,
don't
they run just like that.
Now, what do they do with the knife?
They just lock it.
So they leave the scene of the crime. What do they do with the body?
Nothing. They just leave it there. And they go to this other guy who gives them a gun and
Who's this other guy?
another hood.
Dally.
Now, who's Dally?
He's a criminal and he's another member of their gang.
Now everybody in here read the book, right? Okay. I just don't want to ask.
No.
Dally is wanted by the police. Like, he's committed multiple crimes, and yeah, he's got a huge record, and he goes into jail, and he's like really wanted by the police. Like, they want to kill him, and like Ponyboy and Johnny.
Careful what you're saying. Police want to kill him.
Well, they want him like, out of society.
They'd like him maybe arrested. But
and Ponyboy and Johnny go to Dally for help, and they need a place to hide, so they go to Dally.
So they go to Dally. So what does Dally do?
It says hide at this church.
Dally's able to get them out of the place of the crime.
All right, where does he send them?
He sends them out into like I call it the grassland probably, because it's where nobody would expect to look for them.
Okay.
remember Windricksville?
Yeah.
Out in the country. So, and where do they go?
They go to an old abandoned church.
Now, how long do they stay?
Probably, I think it was 3 to 5 days.
3 to 5 days. Now, does Dally tell anybody where they are?
No.
No? So does anybody else know where they are?
Except for Dally, no.
But the police questioned, an individual about that, didn't they?
They didn't question Dally, did they?
You read the book. I didn't.
Doesn't Derry know where they are?
Derry or Dally?
Derry.
No, Derry.
Derry doesn't know.
No, Derry and Soda Pop.
Soda Pop. Somebody knows.
No, Derry and Soda Pop.
Dally knows. Soda told Dally to give him like a letter, and because Soda was sure that Dally knew where Ponyboy and what's the other kid? Johnny. Yeah, he knew that Dally knew that where they were, but Dally kept saying that he didn't know, but he did. So only Dally knew.
So only Dally knew.
Only Dally.
So now, does anybody in here think Dally's committing a crime? All right, what do you think he's?
He went to, did they go, well, he didn't tell anyone where, he knew where they were, but he told them that he didn't.
So, but do you think he's committing a crime?
They're probably just charges.
Yes. Because he gave them a gun and he told them where to hide.
So he's helping them?
Yeah, he's helping.
That's what I was
Because, yeah.
He's just assisting.
He's helping.
Right.
All right, so who wants to read that? Abby?
You should memorize, like, the numbers of this.
I know a lot of them.
Hindering apprehension or prosecution. A person commits an offense if with purpose to hinder the detention, apprehension, investigation, prosecution, conviction, or punishment of another for an offense or violation of the Title 39 of the revised statutes or a violation of the Chapter 33A of Title 17 of the revised statutes. Statutes.
And number one?
He, number one, harbors or conceals the other.
The harbors and conceals the other.
Number two, provides or aids in providing a weapon, money, transportation, disguise, or other means of avoiding discovery or apprehension of effecting escape. Number three, suppresses by way of concealment or destruction any evidence of the crime, or tampers with a witness, informant, document, or other source of information, regardless of its admissibility in evidence, which might aid in the discovery or apprehension of such person or in the lodging of a charge against him. Number four, warns the other of impending discovery or apprehension, except that this paragraph does not apply to a warning given in connection with effort to bring another into compliance with the law. Number five.
As you can see, guys,
yeah.
It goes long. So prevents or obstructs by means of force, intimidation, deception, anyone from performing an act which might aid in the discovery or apprehension of such person in the lodging of charge against him. Aid such person to protect or expeditiously profit from the advantage derived from such a crime. Gives false information to law enforcement officers or civil state investigator assigned to the Office of Insurance Fraud. So guys, this goes on and on and on. So what do you think Dali's doing?
Pretty much all of it.
He's committing
to hide them.
Pretty much all of it just to hide them. So that goes, that covers everything. So we know Dali's committing a crime, right?
He likes.
He likes committing crime.
He goes and steals from grocery stores just because he wants to.
Which is a really good segue because he is the perfect gang member. Which is something that we wanted to talk about.
So
talk about gangs and why anyone would want to be a part of a gang. And what that's like is really
So now we know, so we'll switch gears right over here real quick and then we'll get back to them. But we know Dali is committing a crime, right? We know that. So what is the most critical problem facing teenagers today? What do you guys think?
What are you facing? What do you see ahead of you that's
Drugs.
going to...
What else?
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure.
Is that connected possibly, Gabby?
Gabby, is that connected?
There's a connection there? Yeah.
What else, William?
Becoming friends with the wrong people because they get false impressions.
False impression. What else? Anything else? Anything, Patricia?
Gabby named.
Gabby name. All right, so let's look at why do people join gangs? Why? AJ?
They join gangs to make themselves feel like and think that they're wanted by a group of people or someone.
Okay. So, William?
You can be threatened.
Do they have friends?
Like, no, like someone could say, hey, join this gang or I'm going to do this to like this person. Like, I'm going to kill your brother or something.
There's a threat, you're saying?
And they have an instant family and they have a bunch of friends that they know will like accept them.
And Gabby brings up a great point.
Yeah.
Instant family, people that'll accept them. Right? So automatically you could be the person, anyone could be the person that's getting picked on in school, they don't have a strong self-esteem, and then the gang comes along and says, we'll give you money, we'll give you this, we'll give you friendships, we'll give you family.
And they also, and maybe like I know like her Pony Boy, like Soda Pop and Dairy were also part of the gang, so they were kind of just already in it.
So keep going, it's good. This is what we have to talk about the book, right? How does it relate to the book?
Their families were in the gang, like they already knew like people in the gang, so like, and they were already kind of accepted before they even knew it.
Okay. And I got a little idea. Okay. So guys, here's what we'll do. The more you participate, and if you can do what Gabby just did, if you could, I want you to bring the book into our discussion.
Self to text, right?
And maybe there might be extra credit.
Correct citation.
There might be some extra credit. You may need a point or two to go from a B to an A, or a C to a B.
So when we calculate, we'll say, oh, cha-ching.
Gabby was raising her hand the whole 84 minutes in speaking with Detective DaCunza. This side of the room is doing very well. So, all right, so now.
He answered so many questions. And he did the whole interview.
Jessica.
Yeah, he did.
Okay. All right, so now, Jessica, to you. How do you think people benefit from joining a gang?
I don't think they benefit.
All right, so.
Good answer.
So now, relate it to the movie.
What do you mean?
I mean, so Ponyboy Johnny, when they joined the Greasers, you read the book, right? So tell me, did they join the gang for a benefit?
I think that when their parents died, that they were like automatically like accepted to the gang because they didn't like have anybody to like look after them and take care of them. So like when they went into the gang, like they kind of like.
And the benefit is?
That they had people to watch it.
Watch it, family.
Yeah.
Somebody to look out for.
So that's a really, really big point in the psychology of a gang member. And I want you to look at the characters and what you know about their childhoods and their families and their economic situation, because these are all factors that kind of fuse together.
Like, also with joining a gang, like, it's so they can have a family. Like, because with, like, in this case, the parents died, and Johnny's parents were very abusive. And so when they joined the gang, they thought they had a family together, and they treat each other like a family.
What do you know about Dally's childhood?
What about Dally's childhood?
What do we know? What happened with him?
Well, I know that Dally's parents don't really care about him at all.
Right.
Because in the movie, they were in the car and
Yes.
they were getting stuff to eat. And he said my dad wouldn't care if I was driving, or I was drunk and driving, and I crashed and I died. He wouldn't care.
Exactly.
So,
And we know about Johnny's parents. We know all about that. And as you said, the other parent, the Ponyboy's parent, they died. So do you see a thread here?
All right. So now, moving on to the next, what are the legal ramifications of a rumble? We kind of talked about it a little bit, right? But related to, is there a rumble in the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Is that a fancy word for a riot?
Yeah.
Yes. So who wants to tell me about it? No.
Well, it's like without any weapons and stuff. It's just like,
That was the rule, right?
yeah, just like whatever the rules.
So keep going. Tell me about, I want to know specifically, remember, this is extra credit. You read the book. I didn't read the book. I'm just going off of my own knowledge. So in the book, The Rumble, they were told no weapons.
Yeah.
Okay, so who did the Rumble, who did it involve?
There was Fox and the Greasers.
The Socias.
I was involved.
The Socias and the Greasers. Now, where'd the Rumble? I see now. In interrogation, guys, what I'm doing right now is I'm leading
The witness.
which I don't want to do. You guys read the book, so I want you to tell me all about the Rumble. Pass it off next to you.
Well, in the Rumble, the Socias wanted to get back to the Greasers for killing their friend Bob. Then they were mad at Johnny and the rest of the Greasers. And the Greasers wanted to get back at the Socias because they were angry at them.
So what happened? Who wants to tell me? So now we know why they're there. So we know there's no weapons. We know because Bob. And we know that. So what happened during the Rumble? All right, let's see. I'm trying to mix it up a little bit.
Sebastian.
Where's Sebastian?
I would say it's a lot of aggravated assault. because they could start fighting over something that happened before, or someone beat someone up and they activate them.
See, somebody's thinking on the basis. High five.
Did I get a high five?
You have to earn it. So, aggravated assault. A lot of fighting. All right? Was it 2 people beating on one?
No.
3?
Groups that can fight.
Groups, right? So, pass it off to...
And also during the rumble, they were on public property, and they were just fighting. The rules of the rumble are basically, they're just simple. No weapons except for your fists. If you see someone, you hit them. If it doesn't go down, you hit them again. It's really simple.
What time of the day or night did this rumble occur?
This was the nighttime, where people are trying to sleep, and this is public, so it's in the middle. It's in a park. Same, I think the same park that the murder occurred.
Yes.
Now, if somebody shows up and they've got a weapon, does everybody else go, all right, that's it, riot's over, no fight, we're leaving? Or do they call the police and say, arrest that guy? He wasn't following the rules of the rumble. We said no weapons, he brought a weapon.
So?
Well, I'm not even sure they would go to the police card because, honestly, they're both doing something illegal. They're fighting on public property, so they probably all just rush at him and smack him.
But did anybody bring weapons to that rumble?
No.
That riot?
One, you brought chain. No, pipe.
So somebody brought a weapon.
So if
So it's Bella, right? So let Bella tell me about, guys, you're educating me about the book. I did this, I'm old, long time ago. So tell me about it, Bella.
It was really part of the Greasers, but it was like on that side of town, it was a different gang, and he brought a part of a pipe to
So now you introduce a weapon into it. So now, what happens?
Oh, well, the leader of that gang got really mad at him and he started punching him.
So now his own guy started punching him. Yeah?
Like, to get the weapon.
To get the weapon. Was the weapon used at all?
No. I don't think so.
It was intended to be used though.
it was
He brought it.
intent.
Because it was on his
intent. So you're bringing a pipe to a fight, right? So if you're bringing it, what do you intend? What do you do?
intended to use it.
What do you intend to do?
Use it.
Right?
Now, what happens if I bring this pipe, and even if I intend to use it, somebody else hits me from behind, they take it, they kill somebody, now you're bringing me into court? I never used it. I was holding
But
it.
it was
I was just holding it.
You to use it. That's why you brought it.
What about you brought in possession for a weapon, unlawful purpose?
He had the possession of the weapon, and he was the one. He was the one who brought the weapon to the rumble.
Right.
Now, all right. So now we're getting into the rumble. Does anybody die at the rumble?
No.
They just kind of like punch each
Yeah, we just like fights and then like they just ran away.
Tell me, AJ, tell me about it. Feed
Well,
me,
nobody
man. I'm like
died.
a sponge, an outsider sponge. Feed me.
Well, no one really died at all, but it was just a fight, and then eventually, when the rumble ended, the socials ran away, and the greasers won. If you want to say, they won.
They won. Okay, good. All right, so now let's move on to number 4.
Would fists in that case be considered a weapon?
Fist to be considered a lethal weapon is, who knows martial arts in here?
My brother tried to teach me karate.
All right, who knows, anyone ever take boxing? All right, maybe if you were in the military, maybe. Guys, if you're trained in a certain art or a specific self-defense tactic, and the prosecution may look to charge you at different grades or different statutes because you're trained. You're considered, if you're a black belt in karate, you're considered like a deadly weapon.
Right.
Or could be considered. AJ?
So if there's like a fight and like if I'm like a black belt and I get in a fight like with the rumble and the police are charging everybody, would I get like a greater charge?
You could.
Because I'm a black belt and they're not.
You could. Now, did you hurt somebody? Because remember, what I'm going to argue to you when I put you back up on the stand is what did they teach you in your 10 years of martial arts?
Well, to hurt and self-defense.
Self-control.
Oh, self-control. Oh.
Self-control, right? Martial arts is about self-control. Discipline. Discipline. Right, so again, what does that mean to tell you?
It means that you're not following the rules.
And you know better.
Yeah, well, it depends that you're going to use what you've learned as self-defense, but you're only going to use what's necessary. So, if like,
So kind of like, if you were a black belt, then you, and like someone was provoking you, you use self-defense to maybe like back them off, like maybe throw a punch at you, or you wouldn't like go all out and like bash your skull against like the ground.
And now be careful, because you just threw a punch or two. What if the guy moved the way you didn't think he was going to move, and you hit him in a place you didn't intend to hit him, and now maybe you killed him?
That was my question. Same thing. What if your fists killed him? Would that be manslaughter? Yeah.
Now, but Patrick, listen to what Patrick's saying, guys. The force necessary to reduce the threat so you can escape. When you're faced with a self-defense situation, you have to use enough force, and then you want to get out of there. Once you have the person subdued, you get out. You go. You call help. Call for help.
And the problem with all of these characters is nobody runs away. Nobody tries to resolve the conflict in another way except through violence.
So now,
and there are terrible consequences.
So we talked about manslaughter, we talked about self-defense, so let's see. Is there gang activity in New Jersey? Does anybody think there's gang activity in New Jersey? What do we think?
I think yes, because like in New York there's probably like a few gangs that are around and like yeah, might do like the same thing as what these guys are doing.
Anthony, did you learn about gangs at their camp at all? No? Yeah.
Like they just said, there's more than we think in the world.
That's a fact.
There's more than we think in like different areas. Like we would probably think there's not many in Morris County, but there are in like Dover and Morristown. And we didn't really learn like a lot. We just learned that there are gangs in many of the city, inner city town places and there are things that happen like that happen in the video.
Gangs could be in any form, right? Name some type of gang. Do we know of any type of gangs? It's Julia, right?
I don't know any of them.
Alright, well there's some gangs that are like motorcycle gangs and like they do commit crimes but sometimes they don't, and then there's other gangs that are more of like criminal gangs that murder people and they do drugs and
Do you know of any of the gangs?
Like, do you mean a motorcycle gang?
No, it was the name of
I know the Hell's Angels.
I don't know about any gangs in Morris County, but in this one camp I go to around the area, I know some gangs. Like at my camp, like we've been divided into certain groups, but it's not like serious. It's kind of like competition-wise. So.
But what Patrick's saying is that he feels the gang mentality because it's kind of like cliques in school, right? If you're an outsider trying to come into a clique of 7th grade girls, it can be bad. It's tough because if they gang up on you, right? If they gang up on you, then it's the gang mentality. All right, let me have that back. Right. What were you gonna say?
Well, I think it depends what you mean by a gang, because there are gangs all over. There might even be gangs in this school. Not the type of gangs that would go and have a rumble, but just a group of people that always hang out together, like a group of close friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like, probably 5 or more people. Like, just who here has hung out with, like, 5 friends or more?
No, like?
Just, like, hung out. run a place. See, most of us here have been in gangs, as we call them.
I'm a gang.
All right, here's the definition to look at.
Guys, look, who wants to read this? Oh, we got a volunteer over here.
All right, listen to the definition.
Criminal street gangs be 3 or more persons associated in fact. Individuals are associated in the fact with 1, 2 of the following 7 criteria that indicate criminal street gang membership apply. A. Self-proclamation. B. Witness testimony or official statement. C. Written or electronic correspondence. D. Paraphernalia or photographs. E. Tattoos. F. Clothing or colors. G. Any other indicia of street gang activity. And 2. Individually or in combination with other members of a criminal street gang while engaging a gang-related activity have committed or corresponded or inspired or attempted to commit within the preceding 5 years from the date of a present offense, excluding any period of imprisonment, 1 or more offenses on separate occasions of robbery, carjacking, aggravated assault, aggravated sexual assault, arson, burglary, kidnapping, extortion, tampering with witness, and influence.
And it goes on. But guys, does that show you? I mean, it's there, black and white. So now, let's go on to the next.
So that's
Did you
what.
notice tattoos?
Yeah.
That was one of those 2 of 7.
I'll give you guys a little hint. All right, AJ, stand up. Anybody else in here? All right, like see this shirt AJ has on? What is it? San Francisco shirt, right? Do you guys ever notice when you're out or you go to like baseball cap stores, do you notice that they make every baseball hat, like the team colors for that team are what? Black and orange, right? But you can go into a store and get a San Francisco hat in what color?
Like white, yes, you can get like any color.
Any color you want. So what do gangs do?
Gangs all sorts of colors, right?
Use normal, clothes. They'll use anything to identify themselves, whether it's bandanas, sports clothing, tattoos, patches, all types of different clothing. That's how they identify themselves. So when you guys are out there and you're watching, when you're going to inner cities, you may see 4 people together. They may all be wearing blue bandanas. That might be something in your head. Oh, I remember Detective DaCunza talking about that. That they might be in gangs.
Right.
Don't walk over and ask them.
No.
Yeah, don't ask them. But
And walk the other way.
now, what did everybody in the greasers have in common?
Yeah, that's what happened.
What did everybody in the greasers? I know you were.
What did they wear? What are the uniforms of the gangs in the novel?
It was like all their hair was grease. I guess their clothing was similar.
Yeah, how? What did they wear, the greasers?
Like leather jackets and jeans.
Yeah.
T-shirts.
T-shirts,
Yeah.
jeans. What about the socials?
They drove around the same kind of car.
How did they dress, too?
And they wore sports clothes, I think.
What was that fabric called? Because that was the insult. For madras. Do you know what madras is?
No.
It's a pattern on a cotton fabric. Comes from Madras, India. And before you wear it, you wash it so it bleeds. Actually, the colors run a little bit, so they blend.
And the socials all had clean-cut haircuts, right? So they definitely identified each other with their hairstyles too. Reese's were long and slicked back.
So now, we were talking about Johnny and they're hiding in the church, right? That's where we left off. Johnny, Pony Boy. So now, they're hiding in the church. So they're hiding out. Dally is hindering their apprehension, right? We learned about that. He's harboring a fugitive. He's not telling the police he's lying. He's doing everything that we read. So who's going to tell me, who's going to take me through the rest of it? Would Johnny have been, we'll get into the heroes part, but does anybody, what happens next?
What weapon does Dally carry?
Call it a heater, but
What's it called?
they call it a heater.
They call it a heater.
Yeah, and it's not loaded. It's just for scaring people.
But do you think if he pulled that gun on me, do you think I know it's loaded?
No. Yeah, well that he has this whole plan. But what they do is they go and they camp out in this church, and then Dally comes and finds them. He's like, hey guys, we should go leave. And they come back and the church is on fire. And a bunch of people are like, there's kids in there. So then Pony Boy, he runs and he thinks like, oh, the fire's our fault. We have to save those kids now. And they thought it was their like cigarettes that lit the fire. And so then him and Johnny go in and they save the kids, but they're trying to get out, and a big burning log falls on Johnny's back. Roof caves in, and they're all taken to the hospital. But they're like they're considered heroes, and they're like everybody knows their name now because they saved those kids' lives.
Understand one thing. This is written by a 16-year-old. Okay, so it's a 16-year-old's perspective. You have two adults there with those kids. You've heard this term probably before in loco parentis. It doesn't mean your parents are crazy. In loco parentis means in place of parents. Anybody who is in charge of kids in any capacity for any reason has to do what a parent would do to maintain the safety of that child at all times. So if there were a fire, you had kids outside, and you still had kids inside, you would put your life at risk to go in and get those kids. The fact that S.E. Hinton has the 2 and then finally 3 when Dally figures, oh, stupid kids, I'll just go in and help them, goes in. Well,
so
those adults, at least one of them would be in there. They wouldn't be standing there just kind of wondering what to do.
The adults were just
It's
kind of
done for dramatic effect.
in the movie. They were just kind of sitting outside, like screaming, and in the book, they were just like yelling help.
Yeah.
Like,
In the book,
Right.
they were like, wait. In the book, like
There were
when
kids in there.
the kids arrived, they had just realized, hey, where's Johnny?
Right.
Like, hey, where's Timmy? Like,
Right.
like they just realized the kids were like.
And they'd be right in there with them.
So now Johnny, if he's found guilty, is he a hero?
well,
Do you
He
think
had-
Dally?
Huh?
he actually never gets charged.
Because he dies. But say he never died.
What would have happened to Johnny if he hadn't died?
He would have been charged.
He couldn't
He
walk.
would have still gone to jail and be like, yeah, he did a good thing. And like, to some people, like, that's like good enough. But to like the court and like the legal like standards, like they don't care about like circumstances. They just care. You did this, you did this.
So how many do you think he would have been convicted?
Are you saying the law's unfair?
No, I'm saying like a lot, like the law doesn't have forgiveness. Like,
No forgiveness in the law?
I'm saying like.
Oh heavens, are you want to stand up on that statement?
Wait, officer DaCunza.
So like when Johnny dies, like God is gonna forgive him because he did like the good deed, like he saved the kids, but the law, like they don't care, like they're like, oh, you still did something bad, so he still gets punished.
So the law only punishes. That's it.
Yeah,
You have a law.
like
time that he's in jail would probably be shortened, but
because he did like an active like.
So the fact that it was a hero would come into
Like
play.
he
probably would help
redeemed
him,
himself
but
in some people's eyes.
But I mean,
But
according to the law, he would still
He would
be
have still been
charged.
convicted.
He would still be charged with something.
AJ's jumping out of his seat.
Well, I have a
You
question.
can put him on a chair again.
So if Johnny got like a life sentence because he's found guilty, and since he died, would his parents have to like do some time because they're in charge of him? No.
Now, guys, know this, because this is what you're going to face around in this area, is that AJ brings up a good point. When mom and dad aren't home, and you guys have friends over, and hopefully it never happens, but you just remember, mom and dad are responsible for you as juveniles. Even though they may not be in your presence, or they may be in overseas on a vacation, they're still responsible for what goes on with you in that house. Okay.
My mom, like, we got a trampoline. My brother and I, we got a trampoline for our birthday, and my parents say that whenever we have someone over and they're not home, we're not allowed to go outside and go on the trampoline. Just like, God forbid, like someone broke their neck.
Then your parents would be legally responsible.
Yeah, they would be legally responsible for us and whatever happened to another kid, and then we would have to like call the cops and handle it on our own. They just, our parents say like, they don't want to go through that. They don't want us to go through that either.
Sufficient supervision.
And I want to have one more question to him. Why does Dally do what he does to him?
Because he loves
Because he what? Patrick?
Well, I'm not sure exactly why, but you find out that Dally is like really cares for Johnny. Like he said, like Johnny's the pet of the game. So then when Johnny dies, he's kind of frozen.
So what is it? Is it a form of suicide? What he did?
Yeah. He said that he
Because what does he physically do? And what happens?
He
Somebody
points
tell
his
me.
unloaded gun at the cops, knowing that they'll think it's loaded, and they shoot him.
And does he get shot?
Yeah, he does.
So what do we call that? Does anybody know? Suicide by cop, guys.
What?
That's what they call it.
They call it that.
There's the-
I missed what happened. It's real.
When Dally points the gun at the police officers, and the police officers shoot him, we call that now, we call it suicide by cop, because people who may be afraid to do it themselves will provoke us, whether it's with a gun, whether it's with a knife or a bat, to defend ourselves and use deadly force.
Which he is allowed to do.
William?
Well, I think that Dally could kind of relate to Johnny because both their parents didn't really care for them and abused them. And so when Dally was feeling down and said, what do I have to live for right now? He would look at Johnny and say, okay, if Johnny's still going strong, then I'm still going strong. Then when Johnny died, Dally really thought that he had nothing to live for because he had nothing to look forward to, so he might as well just kill him.
Yeah, to add on to his point, Johnny and Dally were in similar circumstances. Neither of their parents cared about them, and they were together in the gang. They were just like together, and they made each other kind of. So when Johnny died, Dally didn't feel like he didn't feel like his life would go on happily after.
So I'm pretty sure that every single one of your parents love you in some way. Maybe not every day, but they do. So no one here is ever going to join up.
But remember, if you're together as a group and something happens, we can charge you under the gang statute.
Right.
All right? Does anybody know about...
And keep thinking about intent.
Does anybody know about gangs now? The mafia. You know about the mafia at all?
What?
Right?
What's really shows the
Well,
mafia?
guys,
In the American
they made the RICO statute for the mafia specifically. Now they're using that for the gangs. Because the gangs are ongoing criminal enterprises. Because they're conducting...
No, there's a TV show called like Amish Mafia, and it's like a mafia. But so like, can't they like if a cop sees them doing like a criminal thing.
It's on TV, right?
Yeah, can they get
Plus,
like
understand,
arrested?
it's a reality show on TV, and you've heard me say, because I know people in the industry, there is nothing real on a reality show. It's all set up, or it's all arranged, or it's all organized.
Or they would be arrested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Guys,
it's loosely.
And guys, just know, Facebook, Instagram, all
Yeah,
the social
yeah, let's
media
get into
sites,
that, yeah.
once you start posting
Yeah.
stuff on there, you remember, you post the wrong thing, it can come back and haunt you.
Cyber crimes.
Just so you know. I've already charged people with stuff, so it can happen. So what else? Tough versus tough. What do you guys think that means?
Yeah.
Remember, the Mustangs were tough. T-U-F-F.
Tough is like they're like slang words for like cool.
Yep.
Yeah, first tough is like they're like slang words. And then tough is like
Physically tough. Yeah.
Physically. Well, guys.
Excellent, guys.
Round of
Thank you.
applause for
Thank you.
And then like when you were saying like
And 4 hours.